What's up, CrossFit Linchpin? Today is, wow, it's February 3rd. Holy cow, when did that happen? That seems like it happened really fast. Anyway, I was just in California for the weekend, working at CrossFit HQ. We had a DDC and MDL1, so a lot of physicians, scientists in town. It was always a good time, lots of learning happening. Oh, my puppy just came in. I guess that's the squeaking that you hear. Muggsy, I don't know if they're going to want to hear that squeaking during the video, buddy. We have to remove the toy for a bit. Anyway, a couple topics I want to chat about today. Scaling, and specifically I got a question, scaling for masters, so I will try to address that. And then the phrase, pay the man, or pay now or pay later, which is a classic thing I'm seeing all over social media, and it has its roots in BUDS and SEAL training, which I'm obviously intimately familiar with, so we'll chat about that a little bit. But then, first and foremost, I just have to give some shout-outs. I have to give some absolute praise where praise is needed. So on the Linchpin private track, we have our closed Facebook group, and I know that not everybody in the world is on Facebook, so not all the members that follow the Linchpin private track are on the Facebook group because some people just aren't into Facebook, which I get. But we've got a good showing on there, and I'm going to give shout out to those folks with a post later on, but I can give a post now to just in general if you're watching. On the private Facebook group, we do what we call Motivation Mondays, and Motivation Monday is whether you want to give somebody praise, maybe that you found motivating over the course of the week, help kept you on track, got you fired up or whatnot, or if you need motivation in a certain area of your life, maybe you're struggling in a particular area, you can ask the group for motivation, and it's this good positive back and forth. They can help each other out. But I'm going to give some praise right now. So on my, administrator privileges, for lack of a better way to say it, through Beyond the Whiteboard, I can track what we call the Committed Club. And the Committed Club, if you're in the Committed Club, I think Beyond the Whiteboard gives you like a little badge or achievement or something. But the Committed Club is for members who have 12 or more workout days in a given month. So that averages 3 days a week on average. So if you were able to do and log 3 workouts on average per week, 12 over the course of a month, you get membership into the Committed Club. So I've just recently figured out how to play with this and find out who's who in the zoo here. And I was shocked to see, so this is for January, because February obviously hasn't taken place yet. But I have on the first page of the Committed Club, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Okay, there's 25 people on one page, the first page that I have on the Committed Club. I have 26 pages of 25 people that are members of the Committed Club. Break out my calculator. So what's 25 times 26? That's 650 people that were able to log at least 3 workouts a week just over last month in January. That's really cool. Really fantastic. So congratulations to everybody in the Committed Club. And the number one leading the pack, Cameron A. 34 workouts. 34 workouts logged. It's not even 34 days in the month. What's happening there? Take a rest day, you lunatic. Aaron Wright, 34 days also. Again, take a rest day. And in third place, Christy Barber, also with 34 days. I mean, the whole front page, the lowest number on the front page is 29 days. So obviously on the front page, you've got the lunatics. They're the lunatics that need to, take a wrap off for me, take a rest day. So let's go all the way to page 26. Aero Carrera. Aero Carrera was the last individual to make the Committed Club, 12 workout days on the dot. So, well done. I don't care where on the committed club you are. That means no matter how hectic life got, you snuck in 3 workouts a week, which is absolutely fantastic. So, shout out to that. And I'll do a shout out post on the private Facebook group later on just to recognize some folks as well. But that's incredible. 34 workouts a month. Holy cow. Have a cheat meal. Sit on the couch for a bit. So, moving on to the next topic. Scaling for masters. So this is a particular request that was sent in by somebody just saying, hey, would you chat about scaling for masters? And every now and then I'll get a question that says, is your programming for masters or whatnot, or who's it for? It's, I mean, not to sound corny or whatnot, but it literally is for everybody. If the workout of the day is Helen, 3 rounds for time, 400-meter run, 21 kettlebell swings, 12 pull-ups, that's a workout that's going to benefit a 22-year-old or a 52-year-old. If it's 5x5 back squat, it's going to benefit a 22-year-old or a 52-year-old. You know, because the programming cycles between, which applies to all age groups, intelligently laying out below parallel to overhead, to pulling from the ground, to a light day, to a heavy day, to 1 reps, to high volume, to interval training. And so that benefits all the age groups. The next layer on top of that is every now and then there may be something which has to be modified or scaled or tweaked or changed based upon a certain age group. And when that happens, yes, we do provide scaling, but it's far more important to understand how to scale than to have somebody scale for you. And we do provide scaling options, but we provide scaling options, but then in the video that each day, I could try to give a lot of information, because more important than me telling you, okay, here's your scaled workout, it really is more important to understand why to scale and how to scale, because it's just impossible. If you had a group of people in their 50s and 60s, and the workout of the day was Amanda, ring muscle-ups and squat snatches, and then you're like, okay, here's my scaled version for if you're in your 50s, and here's my scaled version for if you're in your 60s. Well, that's going to work for some members of that group, but it's just not possible to give one scaling option that will apply to every single human being who happens to be above 50 years old. It's not going to happen, because each person has something different going on. Maybe one person can squat snatch, but the loading is the issue. Maybe somebody else doesn't mind 135. They can overhead squat it, as a matter of fact, and they can power clean and power snatch it, but the technique on the squat snatch isn't there, so that's not right for them. Maybe somebody else has got a bum knee or a shoulder, and so the movement itself has to be modified in one way, shape, or form. Maybe somebody else, it isn't the barbell, it's the ring muscle-up, but they've got chest-to-bar pull-ups all day long, but they can't do ring dips, so how are we going to modify that? So again, I mean, you could give 17 options, 17 different scaled workouts for people in their 50s or 60s, and there's still going to be somebody who's like, I like the 17 that you provided, but I've got a unique circumstance going on, so what should I do? And that's just real life. And that is why, although it may be easier in the short term just to have a workout presented to you and say, this is precisely what you will do. It's easy, it's convenient. It does not serve you well in the long term, because eventually you're going to need just a little something different, a little tweak, a little modification unique to either what happened to you last week, how you feel when you get up this morning, and for you to have an understanding of what scaling is, how you should do it, what the intent is. That's going to provide you the opportunity to look at the prescribed workout of the day, to look at the scaled or modified workout of the day, to listen to the video and kind of understand the intent and go, okay, I see where we're going with this, and I'm going to just tweak this one little piece here, and that will be well done, personal and perfect for where you are. And so I see Davey J196. So scaling is personal. People should scale within their own means. Scaling is certainly individual. Again, I can't just say there's one scaled workout that applies to every single human being roaming the face of the earth, because even if you only have, if you're running a class at affiliate and you have 20 people, you can provide a prescribed workout and a scaled workout, but then Mary over there doesn't have the ring muscle ups yet. Pete's over there is still struggling with the technique of the squat snatch, so hey, you're not going to do squat snatch, Pete. You're going to pick it up from the hang. You're going to do a hang squat snatch. You're good to go. And, so-and-so over there, you don't really have any sort of snatching going on yet below parallel, so you're going to do a power snatch. When you power snatch it, then you're going to overhead squat. So a power snatch plus an overhead squat, that's what you're going to do instead of the squat snatch, and so on and so forth. So there is a high degree of individuality needed with that, but the basic core concepts are not rocket science. Initially they may seem confusing, but with repeated exposure and an open mind and kind of understanding the whys behind it, anyone can certainly learn how to scale for themselves, learn how to do it appropriately, and in a way that will promote their long-term health and happiness and their ability to make good decisions, and that should be the goal. Having somebody else scale for you in the short term is great if you're learning from it, but I think the goal should be in the long term that you can do it for yourself, because you also then just find yourself inevitably traveling or on the road or with limited equipment or something. Life's going to throw some curveball at you that you're going to have to use the brain between your ears and figure out, given how I feel today, where I am on my athletic development, what I can and can't do for loading and technique, the gear that I have available, how can I make today's workout fit for where I am? So that's that. Let's see. Brats101928 asks, somewhat on topic, how do you feel with occasionally switching overhead pressing for horizontal pressing, such as dumbbell press or dumbbell floor pressing, etc.? Brats, absolutely unacceptable. You must rigidly stick to everything that's done at all times, or you will get no fitness whatsoever. Obviously kidding. Completely kidding. Sure, no, that's fantastic. As a matter of fact, I'm a big fan of that, and I do that regularly. I've been very open and honest about parts of my body that just don't work so well based upon dumb stuff that I did in the military that affects me to this day, as well as twisting the throttle too much on sport bikes and crashing them into the woods. I've done very bad things to my neck and shoulders, and so overhead does not treat me well. But I understand, to be as fit as I possibly can here on planet Earth, pressing is still important. When I warm up and feel good, I go overhead. I may have to lighten the load or switch the width of my grip, things like that. But some days, even after a good warm-up, overhead's not happening. And on days like that, I generally do exactly what you're saying. I press in a different direction. When the pressing overhead isn't happening, I do a bunch of ring dips. I do tons of ring dips, and I do tons of dumbbell bench press. I do tons of hand release push-ups, and I just do those to get in pressing on days that my body just isn't going to allow me to press overhead. And that's fine. DT we did a while ago, and for DT, the jerks overhead just were not going to happen for me. Did the deadlifts, I did the hang power cleans, but when it came time to go overhead, I just walked over to this little flat utility bench that I have. There was a pair of 50-pound dumbbells there, and I did some dumbbell presses. And based upon whatever the repetition range and loading is in the workout, I may press the same number of reps for dumbbell bench press, or I may do more. I personally felt that, 1296 for DT, that 6 shoulder to overhead with 155, I felt were more challenging than 6 dumbbell bench press, even though you obviously don't get any hip drive. So I did more than 6 reps when I went to the bench press with the dumbbells to get in my pressing for that workout. But absolutely, I think what you're talking about is perfectly fine, and it is wonderfully in line with what I'm talking about, which is understanding the big picture of scaling and modifying a workout that you can make it work for you, and you can go on with your life and be a happy human being. So, I'm just going to make sure my dog's not eating something that it shouldn't eat. What do you got, Muggs? You good? Okay, that's okay. All right, it's got some sort of rubber ball. That's all right. So that's scaling. We provide a tremendous amount of that on the private track. You would like a free sample of that, shoot me an email, info@crossfitlinchpin.com. I'll send it your way. That way you don't have to take my word for it, just in case you think I'm some weird guy on the internet just peddling my wares. You can see for yourself and see if it has value and benefit for you. Okay. Did the Motivation Mondays. We did the shout-outs for the Committed Club. We talked a bit about scaling in general and scaling for masters. And now I see the learning how to scale as pay now or pay later, which made me, when I was coming up with the topics today, the pay now or pay later, then made me think of the topic pay the man, which you see on the internet these days. But, where that came from, where that's near and dear to my heart is, as a former SEAL myself, SEAL training is called BUDS, and BUDS is highly unpleasant. And one of the things the instructors who just, ooh, you got that toy again, huh? Let's switch toys. Ready? There you go. All right. Enjoy that. You enjoy that. I gave him a rubber ball to chew. This is the culprit. See this alligator? That he's also chewed a hole in the butt there, so I'm going to have to probably throw it away. But when you squeeze the alligator's butt, which is a bizarre phrase, it makes some sort of a squeaky sound out of its rectum, but it is what it is. So anyway, I'll give the dog that back there in a second. Let's see. So in BUDS, if you had some sort of infraction, as a class, we did something stupid, somehow made the instructors upset. In general, they would just, we'd get smoked. They'd smoke us. And smoking is just a word for just a physical beatdown of punishment. Burpees until somebody quits, mountain climbers, bear crawls, sprints, buddy carries, drags, surf zone, water torture, whatever it is, just unpleasant activities for a very long extended period of time. So you do something wrong, the instructors would just give us a smoke session for a long time. But it's BUDS. So every now and then, even if you didn't do something wrong, you were just going to catch a beating. It is what it is. BUDS isn't fair. BUDS isn't a place that's warm and cuddly. BUDS it's a unique environment. So anyway, 8-count bodybuilders, exactly. I should say 8-count bodybuilders is the military version of the burpee. So yeah, plenty of 8-count bodybuilders, which I could tell stories about that. But anyway, every now and then, I got off track now with the pay now or pay later. In general, when the instructor just was not pleased, they would just beat you there on the spot. But every now and then, they'd give you the option. As like one of the class leaders, they're like, all right, sir, your class, y'all done messed up. You're all going to pay the man. That's where the pay the man phrase would come out. You hear that all the time. You guys are going to pay the man. And usually it would happen right there, but every now and then the instructors would say, do you want to pay now or do you want to pay later? And would actually give us as the class leader the opportunity to choose our fate. Do we want to right now get our faces smashed into the ground with some unknown hellacious evolution? Or did we want to give him an IOU that he would cash in at some random time when he was bored later on, and he would, beat the stuffing out of us later on? And slowly we learned in BUDS, whenever given that option to pay now or to pay later, yes, I see Steve Schall right there, pay now. The correct answer is pay now. Get it over with. Wipe it off the book so it's not hanging over your head, causing you anxiety, and then you limp away with a clean slate. Because then it's over. And if you pay later, chances are it's going to then, happen at some time where that instructor has nothing on his agenda for 2 or 3 hours. And so it's going to be bad because he's going to be bored. And he says, what am I going to do this afternoon? Oh, that's right. I owe the class a beating. So I'm going to find them right now. And they're just going to entertain me like a cat batting around a mouse before it kills it for 2 or 3 hours. So we learned that very quickly. When given the opportunity to pay now or pay later, pay now. Get it over with. And in my bizarre way of looping that back to learning how to scale, there is a connection here. You will have to scale one day. You will. And you will be somewhere that you can't ask somebody how to do it, that you can't rely on somebody else. And if you've been putting it off and putting it off and putting off learning how to scale, it will bite you in the butt. So just pay now. Figure out how to do it now. Put the time in now. Understand the concepts. Understand why we do it. Understand why it's beneficial and how to do it. And then you are good to go. Whenever the need arises in the future, you're solid. So again, pay now or pay later, pay now. And we could go down a rabbit hole with this pay now, pay later thing just in general, or paying the man. Because I still think about this to this day. I mean, it was literally beat into my head. When anything just kind of pops up in life that is unpleasant but has to get done, but it's so easy to blow things off, isn't it? It's so easy to procrastinate, whether it's sending that email or, I don't know, taking out the trash could be something small. Doing something large, in your life, or trying to tackle a project, or whatever it happens to be, it's got to get done eventually, right? And you can either pay now or pay later. And it's so easy to pay later. But life only gets busier. And so if you decide to pay later, it's going to be inconvenient then. You're probably going to have something else to do then. So get it over with. I overwhelmingly think the proper answer is pay now. So even whatever it is in life, just tackle it. Get it over with. Do it. Check it off the list, and then move forward and drive on to whatever the next thing is. And that's that. And we're good. So let me scroll through and make sure that I didn't miss anything. I can't believe somebody mentioned 8-count bodybuilders. That immediately gave me just a cold chill down my back. All right. JJ Argan, too bad that most leaders in the military don't explain this to their troops. Yeah, yes, I agree with you. I've got all these little leadership things that I learned the hard way that I wish somebody had handed me a book, and I need to scratch all these notes down somewhere, and I try to pass them on to my kids when I can, but absolutely. All right, so I'll end with a quick story about us just taking a beating one day. I can't even remember what it was. I don't know what we did wrong, but this is when you just knew it was bad. Muster out on the beach, right? So you hear that. Muster everybody out on the beach when there was supposed to be something else going on in the schedule. We were supposed to be in the classroom or supposed to be doing something else, and all of a sudden they're like, you guys want to mess around? Roger that. Muster everybody on the beach. You're like, oh, no. And we just line up on the beach, and there's like a little platform out on the beach, little elevated platform, 3 or 4 feet up, that the instructors would stand up on if they were talking or leading in evolutions, that you could see them well. And we all lined up there on the beach in the soft sand, which is so soft sand just makes everything suck more. Whether it's 8-count bodybuilders chasing rabbits, buddy drags, whatever. Soft sand sucks. And of course you're in long pants, you're in jungle boots, you're soaking wet from the ocean, you're covered in sand because they made you roll around, right? I mean, you're not going to take a beating dry and comfortable. You're going to be cold, wet, and sandy. So you have sand in every crevice of your groin and armpits, and just, it's like sandpaper. It's fantastic. So anyway, this is when you know you're in trouble. Got a full head count, great. And you see the instructor doesn't even appear to be angry. That's when it's bad. He just is very casual, doesn't even stand, just sits down on the platform. He's cozy, he's comfortable, he's not going to be going anywhere for a while. And he's got the megaphone, but it's not even to his face, it's got like the cord with the little mic. So he just sets it down next to him and just has the little receiver just casually right next to his mouth. And he's got nowhere to go. He's got a bottle of water, he's bored, and he's got 100 people that he is just going to absolutely beat until a certain amount of people quit and ring the bell, and he's willing to stay there all night long. Those are really bad days. And I remember, we would do 8-count bodybuilders until the hole that you dug from going down and kicking your feet out and all that was just too big that he would actually have to have everybody stop and fill the holes back in, because he didn't want, you could maybe make the hole in a certain way that might make the workout a little bit easier, in some sort of way. That eventually he'd stop, everyone have to fill in the holes because we're going to keep going, and we don't have a moment of reprieve or whatnot, and then do that multiple times. And then a terrible game that I don't know who invented it, but here's a game called, the name of the game is called Backs, Bellies, Feet. It's a very simple game, Backs, Bellies, Feet, and it's just exactly what it sounds. If the instructor says, on your back, you have to get onto your back, on the ground, but you're not doing it casually. You better get onto your back so fast, boom, that the ground shakes, because if you're one of the last people standing, or the instructor feels that you're getting down there casually, you're only going to prolong the beating that you're going to take. So you risk breaking your spine by throwing yourself down onto your back so fast. On your back, or if he says on your belly and you're standing, wha-boom! You get down as fast as you can onto the ground. If you're on your back when he says belly, whoosh, you better turn over lightning speed. And if he says feet, you better rocket up to your feet to a position of attention like a bolt of lightning. Which, that's it. It's very simple, right? And so all that will happen for about, I don't know, again, until the guy's bored, 45 minutes or an hour, he will just have that little microphone cued on, and he'll just go, backs, bellies, feet, back, feet, back, feet, belly, belly, back, feet, back, on your belly, on your feet, back, belly, belly, back, feet, belly, back, feet, belly, back. That's it. And you are just moving at a lightning pace, throwing your body onto the ground, whipping your body on your back, whipping it onto your stomach, bolting upright, and then eventually somebody's going to be like, he's just going to be on the megaphone and be like, all right, well, it appears that you guys don't really care and don't want to move quickly, and so, he would just beat you with something else for a while, and then just, guys appear that you're getting hot, let's go lay down in the surf zone for a little bit, and then just freeze you to death down there in the surf zone for a while, and then when they have to pull you out because you're probably at the brink of hypothermia, well, he knows exactly how to warm you up. You guys look cold, let's come on out, play a little backs, bellies, feet for about an hour or so, and that's how 6 to 8 months goes by at Buds. So, anyway, pay now or pay later? The choice is obvious. Pay now. Get it over with. So, anyway, that's it. Have a wonderful day. That was a great walk down memory lane. I'm very glad that I don't have to do that anymore. And I will talk to everybody later.